All right, I want to talk about the Glock performance trigger real quick. Maybe I'm a little bit late on this because these have been out for a little while as of the recording of this video, but it's given me a little bit of time to do some more rigorous testing on what I do like and what I don't like about it. So this will be the third one that I have. This is one in a gun that I have on the way. I've got one in my carry gun, the 19, and then I've got one here in the 45, this thing. So is it good? Yes, I think so. With kind of two caveats. Is the first one being, I think that this feels pretty identical to the Glock factory trigger. And what I mean by that is I'm a little bit predisposed to liking the Glock factory trigger. I do like it. The Gen 5 trigger, I think, is probably the best one that Glock has ever put in their guns. And as far as striker fired triggers go, the Glock probably does like one of the better-ish ones feeling to me. And this feels almost identical. So the take up to the wall is about the same amount of travel as the factory trigger. And then after you break the shot, the over travel, that amount feels about the same. So I like the way that feels. I like that there's a wall to prep to, unlike if you've ever played with one of like the Ghost Rocket kits or something. It feels to me like there's not really ever a wall. You just keep prepping the trigger and it's all the same weight until you hear the striker fall. I don't like the way that feels, for whatever reason. I know people that do, and I can't stand it. So I like having a little place to prep to every time. With that said, if you like the way the factory Glock trigger feels, you just want something slightly lighter, or maybe something a little bit faster, this is probably the trigger for you. The other thing is, if you want something that's going to like really change up the way you're shooting, I don't think that this one might be for you. Hasn't really changed the way I do anything. And that probably is due in part to the fact that it feels functionally the same as a factory Glock trigger. It's not going to like suddenly bump you up a class in USPSA or something. So with that said, I do like it. And I think for like the, 85, 90 bucks that it costs for this entire thing, I think it's good. And I would, like I said, I've already got 3 of them. So if you kind of like the way Glocks feel to shoot, you want something just a little bit faster, I would say get it. If you want something that's going to totally revolutionize the way that you shoot your competition and stuff, buy like, I don't know, like an open gun or like a CZ AccuShadow 2 or something. I don't know, something that's more racy. But for like general range use, doing drills, prepared citizen stuff, I think these are good and I like them. That's really it. What I will say is for cleaning, they recommend that you clean these every like 1,000 or 1,500 rounds, which seems a little bit of a short lifespan for cleaning, a little bit of a short round schedule for cleaning, because if you're a competition shooter, or if you're training pretty regularly, you could come up on that pretty soon. I mean, I know guys that I might be shooting 1,000 rounds, 800 to 1,000 rounds out of this particular one every month. I know guys that are doing that like 500 rounds a week or even 1,000 rounds a week. So with that said, if you're shooting more than the average bear, you probably are going to come up on that quite a bit. For the average Joe that's shooting like less than 500 rounds in a year, it's not going to be a big deal. So with that said, I think this one, I came up on about a little over 1,500, probably closer to 1,800 or 2,000 rounds before I pulled it out of the bag one day after not shooting it for a few days, and it was really stiff. It came from like 4 pounds, it jumped up to 8 pounds. It was really stiff, and so I just broke it apart and I sprayed lube in it, and now it works fine. I still haven't cleaned it, and now it's kind of becoming like a challenge of how far can I gunk it up before I really need to pull it out and clean it. So there's that, but they do recommend, put lube on your trigger bar and where it meets the connectors and stuff, but I just sprayed lube in there and now it's fine. So with that said, if you don't mind, breaking it apart and cleaning it, then, every couple of months, if you're shooting that much, then by all means, get one. If you don't mind the way Glock triggers feel, get one of these. They are marginally better than the factory triggers, just a little bit faster maybe. And personally, I like it. I don't, like I said, I don't think it's going to revolutionize your training or revolutionize your competition shooting or revolutionize your build roll times. But I do think it is definitely an upgrade, and for the price point, I don't think you can really go wrong with it. So that's that. That's pretty much all I have to say. I'm not going to ramble on too much about it. So